Hey guys, this is ALLIE GREENSTONE from Mary's Medicinals. I'm here with Chad Drew. This is PotTalk on World Viral TV.
Music Buzz Live. This is PotTalk. My name is Moose. We got Chad Drew, CT, Chad H, and now we have in the house Chad.
Max from Trichome Institute, and Allie, our friend that's been here before from Mary's Medicinals. How y'all doing?
We're good.
Max and Allie.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for coming down. I know you got a battle rush hour to get here, so
Yeah.
you know.
All that construction over there, it's terrible.
It's crazy. It's crazy how the infrastructure of the city is going crazy because of cannabis. No.
I mean, it is largely because of cannabis.
Gotta love it.
Well, you know, when I tell people about the cannabis infrastructure whole thing, I say look at it this way. Every dispensary, needs legal, medical, grows, expert electricians, expert HVAC, expert plumbing, chemistry, horticulture, marketing, packaging, sales, distribution. I just listed, 10 professional businesses and jobs that are necessary that surround one business.
Yeah.
And now that Colorado has 700, 800 new dispensaries, that's that magnitude. But,
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many different industries are getting affected straight off of this. And speaking of that, the Trichome Institute, where we get Max from, very cool kind of spin-off as far as other industries that are being affected by cannabis. And of course, you came from cannabis before, so you knew that expanding into the educational side of things was very important.
Well, it's more than important. It's critical and necessary in so many ways because what moves the movement forward is knowing the reality of the situation.
Right.
People have been purposefully, through this propaganda campaign, Reefer Madness, been educated and taught what cannabis is from that perspective, which is not true. And then we have not been able to do the research legally. So there's so much misinformation. And now the information on stoner blogs and forums is really what people think to be true because these people aren't the kind of people who read dense textbooks and peer-reviewed literature from pharmacology, scientists and things like that. So what's necessary is to do a cannabis re-education for society, the medical field, the scientific field, the legal field, the legislative, the public, but also the cannabis industry itself, because it never ceases to amaze me how many people in the industry know so little about cannabis.
True. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
So that's where Trichome comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Everything that he just totally spouted off in regards to it, it gets boiled down simply to patients come in seeing a test result of 25% THC, and that's the only information that a lot of these guys even have.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at a THC test result, what is that telling you? Well, there's 25% THC available on the bud.
Right.
It doesn't mean that there's 25% THC bioavailability. It doesn't mean that that amount of THC is going to get into your system.
Exactly.
If that bud wasn't cured properly, if it wasn't flushed properly, if it's old, if it's more than 3 months old, we have science that proves that myrcene, the terpene that smells like skunk in earth, degrades at a rate of 53% from time alone. And we know myrcene as a terpene helps to lubricate delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, the active form of THC, through the blood-brain barrier to make it bioavailable. So your THC reading doesn't tell you that much, and it also doesn't tell you the quality of your herb. And like how much cannabinoids are in it doesn't mean it was grown properly, cured properly. So that's actually a project Trichome has worked on recently, is our cannabis grading program, TAG, Trichome Assurance Grading. So we actually created a calculator that grades the quality of cannabis mathematically and scientifically with inter-rater reliability to limit subjectivity. So we're not stoners.
Dude, and it totally does. When I went by his office, he showed me some science shit that I had no idea what it was, and he told me like all these big words I had no idea, but I was like, dude,
some science shit.
Yeah, it was so awesome, dude. Blew my mind right out, dude.
Right on. Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to be the impact that this system is going to have on the industry? Are people going to adopt it and start using it as like a regular judgeable
I think they need to.
factor?
I think they need to.
So I mean, look at it this way: cannabis cups. Who is judging the cup? Are they qualified based on what?
Probably
and,
not.
Yeah.
And how are they judging? Is it standard and is it non-subjective? And are they doing intoxicated or not?
Right.
Your strain reviewers. How pounds are priced? How much does a pound of weed cost? Based on what? Says who? The grower right now. And that's
Right.
the same thing as when it was in the black market, because there's no standard variable to measure what quality is. And so what we have currently as a system of cannabis measurement and testing is chemotype, which is your chemical constituents, which are your cannabinoids, your terpenes, your microbials, and some other things. But you also have genotype, which is the parents, the genes of the plant, and then you have the phenotype, like how the plant looks and turns out. None of those things say that it was quality or grown properly.
For sure.
Even if it has an organic certification, even if it's pesticide free, it doesn't mean it's quality.
Right.
It could be organic, pesticide free, have the greatest parents ever, and have an interesting and diverse terpene and cannabinoid profile. But if it's not flushed,
Right.
if it has
Ruined.
spider mites, and if it has powdery mildew,
Right.
all things that they're not testing for, then it's not of quality. And so our lab tests for what quality is and means from a scientific basis. So we actually produce report cards of flour, and we have flour that's been graded by our experts, our level 3 interpreting experts, that's available in stores around Colorado. You can see where that flour is available for sale at our website, trichomeinstitute.com, and pretty soon that information will be implemented into apps. So instead of seeing where every dispensary is, we'll
Right.
tell you where high quality flour is based on a blind third-party verification system, not the information coming from the dispensary themselves, because as we all know, everyone grows the best weed.
Right. Everybody does. Every grower does. And on top of it, when High Times tells you that yours is the best, you got to believe it. Right?
So I'm interested in a little more background on Trichome Institute and how it came to be and where funding is coming from for it.
You want to dig in deep.
I'm thinking like, as a listener that hasn't heard of it before.
Yeah, so
Pierre being all good.
He is being
we
so
forgot to
good.
introduce Pierre, by the way.
That's
You guys
Pierre.
may remember him from when he was 9-10 weeks old chewing on this pillow here.
oh, Pete.
Cutest
Now
dog
almost
ever.
a year and a half and much older, wiser, and calmer.
Much calmer for sure.
We love them. So, the reality is I've been a part of the cannabis industry my whole life. I've lived in the city of Denver my entire life. I've seen and been a part of the entire movement from every corner it's ever been in. And I became frustrated with the amount of lunacy I hear that pours out of experts' mouths all day long. And I go to cannabis classes online or in person, and I'm just like, I paid for this? Where does your information come from?
Right.
Who has reviewed this? Who has approved this? Why are you the person certifying me in stuff that's true when this is obviously false? And so the whole premise of the Trichome Institute is to build multiple platforms and programs that solve major industry issues from a perspective of legitimacy. So the textbooks that we write, I'm the author of the National Cannabis Industry Textbook Series, and Allie's actually writing our cannabinoid textbook.
I could never guess that because you talk exactly like him. Could never guess.
That's why I love her. Our textbooks, I'm considered an industry expert, but our textbooks are reviewed and approved by world-leading authorities of cannabis law, science, and medicine. And this one here, I helped the state of Colorado write the code M408R407, which is the responsible vendor code. And not only is this textbook and the information in it reviewed and approved by those authorities, but this is a textbook that teaches people how to sell federally illegal drugs that is government approved. And it's approved by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment and the Marijuana Enforcement Division.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Totally true, dude. When I came by his office, he had to go because he had like the governor on the phone. I think you're about to talk with the governor.
A congressman.
Yeah, there you go.
Federal
That's
congressman.
right.
Yeah.
I was like,
and
whoa.
And so, not only do we produce curriculum online and in person that we certify people in, I'm licensed by the state to certify people and businesses as responsible vendors in this industry.
Cool. That's awesome.
It is awesome. I can certify you know how to sell drugs right. But, we also do the cannabis sommelier program. So it's so crazy how many people truly believe they know cannabis, and they're religious. They're like, dude, I'm a weed expert, and I know about trichomes and sativa and indica. And you're like, did you ever know you've never smoked sativa before? They're like, fuck you. I smoke sativa all the time. It's my favorite. I'm like, I know you think it's sativa in the dispensaries, but like genomically, it's probably an indica.
Interesting.
And
I did not know that.
Yeah, and so like there's so many things that people, because they don't do their homework, because they don't dig deep into the textbooks, people really don't know. And so what we're here to do is we do that hard digging, and then we relate it in a way that's really digestible. And then we make fun educational programs around it. So when you come to our interpreting class and we teach you how to see and smell the psychoactive difference between cannabis variety types with 60 different flowers and all of the molds and funguses and bugs that we put in your hands in class. We do these classes in Denver. You get these cool tools. So this one, you can put a bud on it and measure where you smell it in your nose and all these different features, and it will gauge the variety type. And then you can open it up, and it shows you the highest qualities and the acceptable qualities of the flower, the unacceptable visual and odor characteristics, your terpene profiles, what you're smelling and what it means pharmacologically when you smoke it, and starts back to the beginning. And we have weed wheels that work in a similar way that you can line up.
So sick, dude,
Yeah,
right?
and
It's
little
incredible, man.
guidebooks that teach you like what cannabis is and to dissect it for its quality and its variety type, regardless of its strain name, because we all know how trustworthy those are. So
There's only one Blue Dream, right?
only
Okay.
one.
All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Only one. Yeah.
So I think he'd be interested in Frank Talk.
Yeah, totally. Right on. I was
You know?
totally thinking about that. We're actually starting up a show once a month now with Frank Conrad from Colorado Green Labs, and he's doing a thing called Frank Talk. It's debuting on Monday. He's coming to talk about, I can't remember what the topic is, but last time he talked about being able to farm your plants and put them in sections to make sure that you're not getting bugs and molds and stuff, and just secluding them. And
I think
teaching
he's
people
dipping
that.
into like law enforcement and people that get cited for marijuana-related charges.
Yeah.
And how legitimate some of that is, and the practices behind that, and how archaic they are at being able to deal with that from
Totally.
a legal standpoint.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
guys would be able to talk away. It would be funny.
Sure. Well,
Whoa.
just a quick note on the legal thing is, they don't teach you your rights or the law in school. And there's no public service announcement on television. There's so many people who do not know their rights that get taken advantage because the cops know you don't know your rights.
Exactly.
Right.
So they know these tactics. Instead of asking you, hey, can I search you? They pose it as, hey, I'm going to have to search you now because I'm a cop and that's my job. And you're scared, so you think if you don't let you know what I mean? So I'm not
these
going to
people
get
that
into it. I'm just saying y'all need to do an episode on know your rights and
for sure.
stand up and use them because you got them.
We should do that.
Yeah.
should.
Don't take a
totally-
plea deal.
I could come in and help you with that too because I'm
That'd
a
be
boss.
awesome. Hell yeah.
I can name my laws like you don't even know.
I'm excited, dude. He's got a class that's on August 22nd, like 2 Mondays.
Yeah, our interpreting class where we teach you how to see and smell the different flowers, and that's our level 1 and level 2 class. Level 3 cannabis experts, you really have to prove your expertise in a really crazy, serious way. Not everyone passes. It's really hard, but I will tell you, ALLIE over here. Not
Yes.
just because she's my girlfriend. Legit, we graded the test in front of her live right after she did it. And still to this day, she has had some of the highest scores in interpreting ever, which is seriously not common and not easy.
I have no doubt. Dude. Not at all.
How you been, Allie?
I've been great, thank you. It was interpreting was challenging. It was rewarding. I think anybody in the industry would it would be worth their while to take the class. So
Cool.
And I'm a busy guy, dude. I got to open my schedule, but this is hella worth it, dude. This is hella worth it.
Well,
So excited.
people in the public too. I mean, the public needs to know about cannabis as well. But I will say this: there are hundreds of dudes right now watching this thinking to themselves, I don't need to go to that class.
Right.
I don't need to listen to this dude. I
You
already
mean
know all
growers
these
think
things.
they're
But
shit the
you
best?
do need to go to this class.
No. Hear me out. And they think this because they've been growing weed for 20 years.
Yeah.
And these dudes come up and tell me when I start class, they're like, I'm here because my boss paid for me to be here, and I'm not going to learn
Lucky.
anything.
Why am I
All right. And then at the end of class, they come up to me and they're like, holy shit. I had no idea that there was like
That's
that.
so
It was.
awesome.
I mean,
That's
it's
so awesome,
the course
dude.
itself is just a 3-hour lecture on what cannabis flower is.
Yeah.
Just flower, and then there's a workshop and a
Sick.
test and some other things. So yeah, it's cool. Go to trichomeinstitute.com to check it out.
So what do you think about this bootlegger from Mary's? Have you guys?
Do you
done
want
some
to
things
tell
about
them
it?
about that before?
Yeah.
I want to get
Yeah,
your,
do a little Mary's-
You got to
do a
do
little
the
Mary's
scientific
plug.
talk.
And
on
so,
it.
I mean, Max will tell you, his warnings and heatings with using cannabis concentrates and the dangers there. But the bootlegger distillates from Mary's are definitely something different and special. A distillation, for you folks that may not know, it's a pure cannabinoid extract. And if you put that in the context of alcohol, it's moonshine. So we've gone with the whole bootlegger theme here.
Aha, makes perfect
Ah,
sense.
Exactly.
clever.
And so we've released first the CBD distillate. So,
Eat it, dude. It smells so good. I
and
wanna, like,
the
drink
beauty is you can eat it because it's just cannabinoids and terpenes that we put back in there. So what you have is the Firewater bootlegger distillate. So, how's that taste for you?
Hold on, I'm enjoying it. Hold on.
So that'll actually be our sativa typical terpene enriched CBD, and we also have the 7 stars, which will be indica. So folks that are using CBD medicine have the
You want some?
option
No,
to
okay.
go either more energizing or more sleepy time for the evening. So I know
So
Max
good,
has tried
dude.
it. Colorado
Just
Harvest
chilling.
Company carries the distillates now, as well as all of Mary's Medicinals products. So check them out over there. Their bud tenders are awesome and knowledgeable and will guide you in the right direction.
I've heard nothing but good from the dabbers in the company. You know that I'm not a dabber. Like
Yeah.
we've played that game before.
I'm not either, and
Yeah.
I've dabbed this, and I love
Dude,
it.
The dabbers at
I'm
the
not a
shops
dabber
that
either.
I've talked to have absolutely loved it. You get a really quick heady, you feel it quick, and then it takes care of the body nicely.
Exactly.
So-
So how many people that work in the industry are dabbers? Like what percentage would you say?
I think a lot. I'd say the majority.
Really?
And bud
Okay.
tenders have high tolerances, and they tend to
Yeah.
use
Yes.
concentrates often.
Yes.
They have access
Okay.
to them. So, I think that tends to be, at least from when I do my training and education, that's their go-to.
It's one of the
Okay.
benefits of being in the industry, but you have to do it. And after a while, like you're just like, shit, I got to do another edible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The tolerance
but it
keeps
never
raising
gets
and
old,
raising.
dude. It's weed.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
right on, cool.
And for me, on the other end, I use mainly transdermals. I use patches, and my tolerance is hella low.
Yeah.
I use the
Yeah.
same 10 milligram dose that I've been using for 3 years, and I get the same effect. It's just a different way to use it, and it keeps your tolerance low, which is nice for people that use products like berries.
Totally.
I threw 2 transdermal patches on recently. It was awesome.
Which ones did you try?
I did THC sativas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah.
were both of them. I was like, let's do some
Those
shit.
scare me.
Yeah, dude, it's so awesome. So awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much almost against dabbing in general, just because the majority of what's currently available, I don't agree with what the product is and how it's dabbed.
Okay.
There are
Right.
dab products out there that I do agree with, and ways to dab them that I also agree with. And I also know that there is a time and place for dabbing that's
Right.
necessary.
I think
and-
so too.
Yeah,
I think a
and-
lot of people get that out of their head.
Yeah, and I
You
mean,
know.
at the end of the day, like when I was talking with the state about this, because we were, they're making laws on concentrates,
Right.
But they're like, we don't know what the hell dabbing on a puddle swing and an oil rig is. Could you come?
These guys in ties are
Could
like,
you come
"Whoa."
tell us what's going on? And so the thing is I explained to them that dabbing has hit critical mass.
Yeah.
And what that means is not only is everyone aware of it, a lot of people are doing it, and the people who are serious about it, unfortunately, I believe they are addicted to it. Maybe not the cannabinoids as much as some of the flammable solvents
Right.
that come with it that are known to be addictive as inhalants.
That makes so much fucking sense,
and,
dude.
And what comes in with that, and yeah, but regardless, if you were to make something like this illegal, when it does hit critical mass, just like alcohol back in the bootlegger days, people are going to make it in their basement.
Yeah.
And so you
Totally.
don't want people making their own concentrates and oils in their basements because, as you
Yeah.
guys were saying earlier, you're going to blow yourself
You're
up.
gonna blow yourself up.
Not only are you going to blow
Motel
yourself,
Minute.
not only are you going to blow yourself up, but if you get caught and you don't blow yourself up, the penalties. I don't know if any of you out there have researched what the penalty is for getting caught doing a BHO extraction in your kitchen. But let's just say if you have children, you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
For
Totally.
manufacturing narcotics and explosives in,
Right.
in a residence and other things like
Wow.
that. But you know,
It's never made any lick of sense to me, dude. Honestly, like I've always thought an alcohol extraction, or like even just bubble bags, if you really got to go with it, you know, that's what everybody knows. I know it's only going to take so much away, and these days, it's way better. You know what I mean? And you have that access to way cleaner and stuff, and not have to do it. But I never even think about doing that, dude, at home.
It
you
just
know?
seems to me
Yeah.
like some of the people that are dabbers and are all into that, they're like now like anti-smoking flower.
It's true.
Which
yeah.
makes
well, there's
no
a reason
sense
for
to me.
Their
it makes perfect
tolerance.
sense to me. What happens when you dab is it is so many more cannabinoids than your brain is organically permitted to respond to, that your brain has a natural reaction to protect itself by shutting down your CB1 receptors in your brain to protect itself. And so when you dab, you are mowing down the receptors responsible for perceiving delta 9, which is why you don't get euphoria the way you used to when you smoked, when you had lesser of a tolerance. And so that's also why such a high concentrate of cannabinoids lasts for such a short period. You would think the opposite. Because you're taking 90% THC, that should last much longer. But because your brain is actively trying to save itself by shutting down your cannabinoid receptors because it's so overloaded, it really is taking away your high much sooner than smoking 20% flower. And so what you find is you find these dab heads that have become addicted to more of the chemical constituents within the product matter, and then frustrated from their lack of perceiving cannabis due to their extreme tolerance because they are dabbing, which is one reason why I'm not a fan of it. And I don't think it's necessary all the time. Like, if you need to go to sleep and you dab a clean distillate that's a CBN dominant, you know, that makes sense to me because you're helping yourself. That's medicine. And, you know, you just don't need to, in order to, like, get high to have fun in terms of, like, retail rec,
Right.
Do you have to necessarily, and I use this term because this is the definition, do you have to freebase the amount of
Totally.
flammable chemical compounds into your cerebral cortex just to get some THC in your system, let alone wax? Most people don't know is just paraffin and cutin, which is literal plant wax. And so the difference between wax and shatter is if you winterize wax and separate the paraffin and the cutin from the cannabinoids, what you have in the bottom is just shatter, and what you have on the top is literal candle wax. You could roll a wick around it and light it on fire. So it's the same thing as taking a lit candle and pouring the hot wax in a bowl of flour and smoking it, and that paraffin and cutin can clog your vascular system, your arteries.
Oh, that's not
So,
good.
like, do you need wax plus chemicals plus mowing down your receptors to, like, feel good?
Dude,
Don't
we've
make
all-
no sense.
We've all
Don't
had
make
that.
no
We've
sense.
all had that drunk friend that had to have 15 fucking drinks at the bar when you knew that in 2 beers they were gonna be great, dude. But 15 beers deep, you got to clean up their throw up, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
It's similar. It's crazy how similar to alcohol addiction. You know, because I've had that very familiar in the family.
Yeah, but
before.
you've had alcohol education in school.
That's totally true.
Nobody has told the public what I'm telling you.
Totally.
And, you know, I piss off a lot of potheads because they think I'm talking bad about dabbing. I'm not. I've kept saying
Right
over
time,
and
right
over
place,
again.
dude.
There's a right time and a right
right
place.
place.
It should be legal. All of these things. It should be clean. I'm just saying that there is so much more of bad dabbing and people don't know about it. And I'm just trying to inform people so that you can make an informed and educated decision for yourself. I'm not saying you
Most of
should
them-
dab or you shouldn't.
Many of those dabbers can't understand what you're saying anyway.
So what we can take away
So-
from this conversation is that Mary's bootlegger distillates, it's always the right time to dab with these
There you go.
concentrates.
There you go.
We'll
Cheers
have
to
other
that.
varieties. CBN is in the works. THC distillates. You know, the best out there. So if you're
So-
gonna dab, go with the bootleg.
Right
Here,
time,
how about,
right place.
How about this?
All right.
I'll help your little your sale pitch
Uh-oh.
All right, I'll
right.
I'll lay it down. So check this out. When you dab wax and shatter, the high is like a run-of-the-mill high in the middle because it's vacant. It's vacant of terpenes because the terpenes are really blown away in the extraction process. They're not really kept, and that's the difference between live resin. Is it's the process where the terpenes are in conjunction with the cannabinoids, the entourage effect. This distillate, this bootlegger, is terpene infused, not cannabis terpene infused, but terpene infused with specific terpenes that have a pharmacology that affect you in the way that the terpenes that it's mimicking from the cannabis plant will treat you. What that means is when you take a dab of this, the really tasty, flavorful shit you're tasting are those terpenes, and that's what's going to steer the direction of the high that you're feeling. It's not cannabinoid dependent, the difference between indica and sativa effect. It's terpene dependent. The cannabinoids are the vehicle kind of behind that push. And so that's another reason why dabbing this product is unique, is because it's flavorful, it's tasty,
It's good
it's
shit.
dynamic, it's clean
Good shit.
because it's a distillate. So it's cool. I like it. I tried it.
Right on. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for coming down. This was maybe one of our most informative sessions.
Totally, dude.
For
Yeah,
sure.
this was a good pot talk, man.
Right on.
All
We
right.
appreciate it, Max from Trichome Institute and Allie from Mary's Medicinal.
Check us out,
Well,
trichomeinstitute.com, Max_Montrose on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff.
and Pierre.
And
Yeah.
MarysMedicinals.com, Colorado Harvest Company for all of our products, and yeah, just Pierre, you can see him around Denver.
All right, this is Music
Thank you, Doug.
Buzz Live. Stick around. We'll be right back. Right on, man. That was fucking awesome. Cheers.
Colorado Harvest Company.
I capture your beauty to put on display, as if it's my duty to blow you away. This is the end of everything I've ever known. Please
World Viral TV is brought to you, as always, by Colorado Harvest Company.
Welcome to the newest Colorado Harvest Company. Well, I mean, he was a professor.
World Viral.
Okay, so it has been approved that we can say the fuck word.
Yeah, you just did.
Okay.
All of the United States is looking to Denver, Colorado to see what is cool. You know, it used to be maybe California back in the day or maybe New York early along, but now everybody's really looking to Denver, Colorado to figure out what is cool. And when you get accepted by Colorado as cool, well, then it just spills over to the rest of the world.
You have to see the vision for this area on South Broadway. This area, 5 years from now, is going to look very different than it looks right now.
Right.
Not supposed to film me giving my tools of the trades like I know.
Tools of the trade?
Yeah.
Separate segments?
Separate segments when you do it. always idea yourself and say,
Hey, this is Bubba Sparks, baby, and you're watching World Viral TV. You better know about it.
World Viral.
You're watching Music Buzz Live on World Viral TV.